The truth of the matter is that we are courageous. If we weren't, we wouldn't be here. The honesty of our deal is that we are keepers of the golden, bridge builders to the world. We are the entire planet, every shade of human existence. We are an experiment in there and here and going and been and always in transit. In one blink at the area, you can see heavens and earth turn to see snow-capped mountains, revolve to see a zillion beads of water refract where ocean meets the bay. We speak every language. We eat all manner of crop. We thank our parents in every tone. It is good here. It is good here. We make and export self-actualization, compassion, ideas, engagement, hope. All that to say, we are worth protecting. We are worth engaging. We are worth the struggle it will take to make us our newest and best selves. Every hard conversation, every changed behavior, negotiation, protest, march, or affirmation, we are not done growing. At seeing what we wish was not there, at critiquing ourselves for the betterment of the world. We ain't perfect. We ain't chasing perfection. Ain't looking for hope overnight. What we want is equity. A fair shake for everybody who looks like us and everybody that doesn't. Not just for those who can afford it, but for everyone under the sound of this voice and everyone who doesn't hear too. What we want is access. We want amends. We want livable wages. We want food, bread, justice, land, as we've been calling for years. We want tired, poor, huddled masses. We want to give them safe space and sanctuary. We want all-night dance parties in the Mission. We want the green lush of Tilden. We want women to be safe. We want children to be safe. We want queerness to be exalted. We want our ancestors to be acknowledged, and we want our babies to be free. We know that this is risky conversation. We know that this is high stakes work. But as noted before, we are courage made manifest. We are bold by nature of our being. We are eons into this work and still just starting. We are hundreds of thousands and we are one. We are moving, pushing, thriving. Together, we ask the most courageous among us, the bravest in our midst, to join us.
Good morning. I hope the poet Shanaka Hodge inspired you as she inspires me. As an Oakland native, she shines a light on what equity would mean to the Bay Area and how all of us can contribute to this vision of a region and a state where everyone thrives. I'm honored to be joining you at the 2020 California Land Recycling Conference. I'd like to thank the Center for Creative Land Recycling for inviting me. My name is Khanh Russo, and I lead the Partnership for the Bay's Future, a San Francisco Foundation initiative in partnership with advocates, legislators, and corporate partners such as Facebook, Chan Zuckerberg Initiatives, and Genentech. At the San Francisco Foundation, we really believe in creating communities where everyone thrives. This is a place where every resident can make a good living and leave a nest egg for the next generation. It's a place where everyone has an affordable place to call home, and where each person can use their voice to shape the decisions that affect their lives. It's a place where everyone feels that they belong, where we can walk down the streets and see the businesses around us owned by members of our community, preserving our diverse culture. Our kids can go to a school that allows them to feel safe and grounded and which prepares them for success. Our prospects for success have no relationship to our zip code or the color of our skin. This is our goal. We know that there is much work to do to achieve this vision, but we also believe that this brighter future is worth striving for. This future we envision is better for everyone. This is what we at the San Francisco Foundation are working to achieve, and we hope you'll join us in building it. In particular, the Partnership for the Bay's Future was really designed with the belief that stable homes and healthy, resilient communities are the foundation that families need to thrive. Every family has a right to a stable home, and keeping Bay Area families of all races and economic backgrounds in quality, affordable homes means creating and maintaining healthy, resilient communities. We believe in the two-prong approach is the best way to cause substantial change. It takes policy and development to move the needle on affordable housing. And we believe that it takes the production, preservation, and protection of housing to create enough affordable housing to meet the needs in the Bay Area. The world around us is changing rapidly, presenting us with the most complex set of issues facing our state in more than a generation. And it feels like it just continues to get more and more complex. You know, right now we're dealing with significant wildfires, another layer of complexity to what we're experiencing. Everything we love about California is in jeopardy if we do not work together to develop effective ways to support our most important assets, our environment and our people. COVID-19 and the protests around the country for racial justice have really made it clear that we need our system to operate better, especially our housing system. COVID-19 has created great urgency for all of us to rethink the importance of our homes, our neighborhoods, and our environmental resources. The pandemic has demonstrated the fragility of the current housing system. It's fragile for the tenants who are struggling to socially distance and access online resources. It's fragile for some landlords who are struggling to operate remotely and collect rents. It's fragile for our economy, which needs healthy workers who have a place to be safe, but still engage in everyday activities. And it's fragile for our already displaced people in our streets. As we face these complex challenges, how we respond in this moment matters. These challenges will not be solved merely by simply building more housing or by the creation of a new housing program or yet another app. The long-term prosperity of our region will depend on our ability and really your ability to adapt quickly as the environments around us becomes more challenging and complex. We're facing environmental degradation. We're facing healthcare capacity shortages. We're facing automation of our jobs. If we fail to act swiftly to prioritize the climate, sustainability, and housing for people most in need, we will lose our ability to protect the legacy of this state for our children. California is at its best when we work as a strong collaborative and have adaptive leaders. Today, we need leaders like you to show up powerfully to help solve the state's toughest challenges. Housing, climate, and sustainability is at the top of that list. It is urgent and it is a priority. Every survey of Bay Area residents consistently shows how critical solving these challenges are. If we want to have a diverse community where people from all walks of life, backgrounds, cultures, expertise, and careers are welcomed, we have to work to ensure that there is a place for them. As I mentioned, one of the key issues that the Partnership for the Bay is focusing on is housing. But housing is not just about a home. Housing is about our children, our future, and our freedom. With a stable, safe place to call home, our children have a better chance of succeeding in school, getting a job, and building their own strong families here in California. We owe it to our children and the next generation to make sure that we're caring for the environment and that there's enough housing for them to stay if they choose to. No matter where you start, success in life starts at home for all ages and all people. When we have sustainable, safe, and secure places to live, parents earn more, kids learn better, health and well-being improve, and our communities are strengthened, and our state has the building blocks for a thriving community. We all thrive when we can live near our place of work, reducing the stress on our existing infrastructure, as well as reducing the time and expense of commuting. Less commuting decreases our environmental footprint and leaves more time for community, health, and family. We all thrive when we put people first, making sure that everyone in our community has a decent place to lay their heads at night, whether you are a renter, a homeowner, or without a stable place, we know that a stable home anchors our health and provides the ladder for future success. We all thrive when we have strong pathways to rebuilding wealth, whether we are renters or homeowners. In a world of uncertainty, we all need to build and pass on wealth, which can help break a cycle of poverty and improve life for everyone in our region. I believe that environmental justice and housing equity is really the path to liberation. We simply cannot just ignore the context of how we arrived at this moment. Our work to expand, improve, and diversify the mix of homes across our state is really a critical part of an intentional effort to advance equity and inclusion. We have to acknowledge the harm and mistrust that past housing policies created, racially and economically segregating many parts of our community, denying home ownership opportunities to people who work for and deserve those opportunities, displacing people from neighborhoods that they have culturally cultivated, reinforcing economic inequalities through wholesale disinvestments in neighborhoods that desperately needed critical resources for wellness. The result is that people of color are overrepresented among the homeless. They're overrepresented among those most impacted by the lack of affordable housing, jobs, and health inequalities. We cannot undo the past, but we can redesign the policies of the past. We can make investments in housing and the environment so that people from all walks of life have affordable and healthy places to live and are able to enjoy the benefits of our growing, prosperous state. We refuse to leave behind entire neighborhoods, communities, and groups of people as our state thrives. The investment in sustainability and housing is a way to create thriving, diverse, and inclusive communities across our state. Our success in this effort will be judged in part by our ability to foster greater social, racial, and economic inclusion. That's why we're making an intentional effort to measure, with data and metrics, our ability to heal the environment and expand housing opportunities to a wide range of people across our state. We want to measure equity concretely and to show a real commitment to addressing the inequities of the past. We do not plan to take old inequities into the future of the state. We see and envision a different, more equitable way forward, and we're working to dismantle the unjust systems that keep people in a perpetual cycle of hardship. We are in this together, and everyone here at this conference has a critical role to play. As we look ahead to our future, one thing is certain. If we do not care for the environment and plan today for the housing needs of the people in our communities, we will lose what we value about living here. Times have changed. Technology is automating the jobs many of us depend on to pay rent or mortgages. The demographics of our state are changing rapidly, forcing us to rethink the types of housing we need versus what is being built today. Our environmental concerns are elevated, forcing us to rethink how we adaptively reuse materials and land to help sustain our planet and the beauty of the state. Our values around equity, inclusivity are stronger, meaning that we have no interest in policies that recreate racially and economically divided neighborhoods across our state. The simple truth is that we haven't built enough homes to keep up with the demand over the last decade. This means we now have more people trying to find homes they can afford near transit, their jobs, and good schools. The consequences of our inattention on this issue is that it is driving up costs for everybody, and we simply cannot afford to ignore this issue anymore. It's cost all of us too much to ignore the housing crisis. Every day that we don't all lean forward to solve this makes the situation even worse. Let's solve this already. COVID-19 has really reminded us how reliant we are on each other for our survival. Whether it is the doctors and nurses at our hospitals, or the cooks and food delivery workers who enable our ability to shelter in place, we are all connected. Whether it's the home health aides who care for our aging parents, or our children's teachers who are soldiered on through distance learning, We are leaning hard on each other at this moment. Let's face it, our health depends on their health. Likewise, our housing stability often depends on the housing stability of a great many workers across our region. Let's not let them down. No matter where we live or how we found ourselves in California, having a safe, stable place to come home to is the foundation of our well-being and mental health. It's where we celebrate our good times and recover from rest. Today, however, because many of our systems have not been designed with an equity lens, too many of us are left merely surviving in unhealthy environments or under the threat that one unforeseen problem will leave us out on the street. Far too many neighborhoods lack the pathways to opportunity to the critical resources that would allow them to build wealth, connect to resources for wellness, and pursue their aspirations. You shouldn't have to be lucky to find a clean, safe, and decent place to live in our region. Seniors shouldn't have to be lucky that they bought their homes early enough to benefit from their investments, nor should seniors who are renters have to move away simply because few options exist for them to stay in the state. Millennials who work in California shouldn't have to be lucky to find affordable rental or be forced to leave the state when they're ready to own a home, simply because so few options exist for them here. Families shouldn't be crammed into studios made for students or single adults simply because they were not lucky enough to find rental homes that meet their needs. When we make better environmental and housing policies and our housing system operates better, we don't leave the survival of so many people to chance or luck. The system should help us plan for and provide the critical things that people actually need to live, work, and thrive here. Thank you again for the opportunity to be with you today and share a vision for a more sustainable and just society. With your leadership, we don't have to count on luck to make this vision a reality.